Howdy folks, so on today's edition of what could possibly be wrong with the fleet of high mileage shit boxes, we're going to change the brake pads on the 2007 Pontiac Vibe. So there's the pads I got, Napa. Was able to get those in town at a reasonable price. And there's the part number I'm using. And we're going to get started. And if you're going to do this job, don't forget, get some lube, and you're going to need it. So, and also, I thought maybe I could get away with dielectric grease, so I did a little research on it, rather than get different grease, brake specific grease. And all the research that I did on it tells me no, you can't use dielectric grease, just in case you're thinking about it. So it's nice, it comes with the clips. And there's the pads. Okay guys, so we're getting ready to do these brake pads. So what I've done is made sure that my car is properly supported. I got a jack in the center here, and then I've got my other two jacks there, and one on each side. And just because I'm paranoid, I've also put a tire on each side. So let's get started. Okay, so you've got two mounting bolts there, one on the top, one on the bottom, and they're 14 millimeters. So I just put my screwdriver between the holder there and the caliper to pry it off. I've got it sitting up here where, famous last words, it's not going to fall. But I'm probably going to put something over there just to hold it, just in case. So I think it's pretty sturdy there. I'll just keep an eye on it. And now we're going to get these calipers off, or these pads off. Just got to pry them a little bit. Okay, so there's the holders off. They are, what are they? They are 17 mil. So the calipers 14 millimeters. The holders are 17 millimeters. And just have a look at that. Hey guys, so I just got back from the parts store. Picked up the premium rotors. So we'll be getting those installed, and then another thing I wanted to show you is that most of these cars, it's the same. The dust plate is gone, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that. So anyway, we're going to get these new rotors on and get this job finished. Each one of these I'll be taking a clean rag and some brake cleaner, just in case there's any oil or anything on there. Make sure they're nice and clean. Flip over and do the other side. There you go. Nice and clean. So we've got that sitting on there. So now I'm going to pull these pins out and clean them up, and then apply some brake lube to those. So you just want to be gentle with that boot there when you're pulling it off. And these actually aren't too bad, so, but I'm going to put some on anyway, just to be safe. Okay, so those are lubed up, and then you want to make sure you have that boot all the way over. You can see in there or not, but you don't want any moisture leaking in there, so pull it up all the way to the back. Okay, so I just used a C-clamp to work that caliper in, and it went in real easy, so I know it's good. So we'll keep on moving. So I'm just going to put a little bit of never sees on these bracket bolts. I'm not going to bore you with that. I'll work it around. And then torque those to the bracket bolts. I'm going to torque to 80 foot-pounds as per the spec. So we got these bolts in here on the bracket, and we're going to torque these down to 80 foot-pounds. Okay, so the bolts are torqued down, and we've got our, came with new clips, so you might have to monkey with them a little bit to get them to get in there, but they are in there. So now we'll get the pads on. Okay, so there's the outside one in. You just want to put a little bit of that brake grease on there. That really helps it slide in, but I was careful not to get any on that rotor. Okay, so that's all I put on there, and that helps it just slide right in. Okay, so the pads are in there. The inside one was a little tricky, so, but now we're just going to put a little bit of this brake grease on the back of them, and we'll get the caliper on. Alright, so I greased the outside of that back one, and these had no markings on them for inner or outer. They're all completely identical, so that's what we're putting in there. Okay, so there's our caliper on there. Pretty tight, but they are new. So anyway, so the torque spec for that is, that's a 14 millimeter, and the torque spec for that is only 25 foot-pounds. So we'll get those bolts in. Also remember, the flat side goes against the flat side on the caliper. Okay, so that finishes it. So the only thing I didn't do was put the squealers in, but you know what, the squealers didn't work anyway, so I'll put them on the other side. I'll remember to, but they didn't do any bloody good anyhow. So anyway, we'll get the other side done, and this job's finished. Catch you later.